Okay. Hey everybody, hi, Shweta Kulkarni here again. And guys, welcome to Wondrous Women Virtual Talk Show, episode number 5. As you all know, that this Wondrous Women Virtual Talk Show is all about women doing wonderful things, magical things in their life. And I see it like a success point, like an accomplishment. But at the same time, whatever episodes we have done till now, that I'm sure by now you all know that these women never say that, Shweta, I'm successful. For them, success has always been a process, right? And today's Wondrous Women, we have women into mindfulness. So let me give you a quick background about this wonderful lady. So guys, I know this lady since last 10 years because she is also from a Zumba fitness. She's also a Zumba education specialist, but I know her before I became a Zumba education specialist. So I would always say that Miss April today, she has always been a smiling and positive face into Zumba. If we see the Zumba posters, if you see somebody who is smiling with giving a lot of positivity, that has to be April. This is the way I know her. And then I got to know her more since 5 years because even I became an education specialist. So I actually met this positive, smiling lady. But today is not about Zumba fitness. Today is not about how amazing dancer she is. Today is women into mindfulness, guys. So guys, since last 2 years, I've been following April on her Instagram. I'm just following on her work. So she has, I would say, like a milestone, she has got into mindfulness, into giving more positivity. I would say something that motivates all of you. So here we have Miss April. Hold on, guys. And there she is. Hi, April.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, very well. April, welcome to Wondrous Women Virtual Talk Show. How excited are you? Tell me about it.
I'm super excited. So very thankful to Shweta that you invited me to this.
Pleasure.
It's a blessing. I'm very thankful, and I love this. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So, guys, we have April all the way from USA, and so April, I the first question that I want to ask you today, it's like very generic question, and this is the way that audience is gonna know you more, and it can be like an introduction, small, long, it's up to you. So, April, my first question is, would you like to walk us through this journey, what you have been till today? Like, I know because your introduction says you've been into dancing for a long time and you're a fabulous dancer, a fabulous presenter. I know you for a long time. But could you, just walk us through this journey from being a dancer, an education specialist, a teacher, and now you are into mindfulness. It would be amazing to know more from you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So yes, as Shweta mentioned, as far as me dancing, I've been dancing since I was 4, and my mom put me in, there was ballet, a little bit of ballet, modern, jazz. And I've been on dance teams, I've been a captain of dance team. Dancing is, as you know, Shweta, very therapeutic.
Amazing, yeah.
So, on top of that, when I was young, there's two things that always stand out to me when I was younger. Is, for me, because I'm a teacher as well, so dancer and teacher, and combining both.
Yeah.
When I was young, in my room, I would always have my little teddy bears set up and dolls. And so I would make like they're my students and they're in the classroom. I
Wow.
have a paper with a red pen.
So cute.
I would always do that and just like pretend that I'm this teacher. On top of that, my mom used to always get me journals, and that still holds true today. I have so many journals. Like, she would always get me writing journals and always encourage me to write about, just my personal experiences. I've been doing that since I was about 9, having journals. And when I look back, because I'm a writer too, so I don't know if you believe that. But I've been writing poetry since I was young. And the
Wow.
poetry has always been about just life and peace and love and us all just being connected, you know. And, it would always be about, world peace, world peace. And I would look back at my poems and I'm like, oh man, okay. I just love to write. So that's my thing is dancing, teaching, writing.
It's beautiful.
And it was very quiet, very quiet a voice. I think it was more so because I wanted people to be comfortable and not, I don't want people to be uncomfortable. So I felt like, okay, I shouldn't really say anything. So, being an introvert, and I would say extreme shyness because I hardly said anything.
I
So I
know.
would write, you know. In school, it was that way. Even being on the dance team, I still was very, very reserved, very quiet. And college, quiet. People didn't even know who I was in college.
Are you kidding me?
Because I
Come
would wear
on.
braids.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. I would wear braids, and I would stay in my room, and I would come outside, to get fresh air and everything, but it was always to myself. So funny thing is that so college, I did the 4 year college degree program, and I think like my third year in college, so junior year, there was a fashion show for auditioning. So the seniors in college, they that were in the fashion, program, they would design clothing and everything, and they would have the fashion shows on campus.
Yeah.
So anyway, make it short, I auditioned for it. And we're talking about like my third year in college.
I
So,
know.
nobody knew. I just went by myself. I don't know. I felt like I could do it and just walk the runway and everything.
Yeah.
Um, and I was still quiet, still reserved. None of the girls had talked to me or anything because they were all friends. But again, here's
College is
me. Well,
different.
who is she?
Yeah.
We don't know who she is, but
Yeah.
so when I auditioned, they said, okay, we'll bring you on. And there was a journalist there as far as for the local newspaper. Um, when you open up the newspaper, you know how you can open it up and it shows a full body of the person, and
Yeah.
then there were like pictures of other models in the fashion show all around, but guess who was in the center?
Yeah.
That was me. So I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's this journey of just being quiet and silent, but then obviously people noticing certain things, and I can say now, I'm noticing certain things about my energy. It's always positive and everything, and so it started to build up a little bit of me saying, okay, not this whole feeling timid and fear of, what people would think of me, what people would say, about me. And I'm always trying to make sure that everybody else is good. That's just me. My mother's like that too. And so, I did my graduate degree, master's in education,
Yeah.
but it was in higher education.
Wow.
I
Mm-hmm.
volunteered in various schools, but taught at the college level.
Okay.
And I absolutely loved that. My main focus with my master's degree was in higher education, but the focus was on academic advice. So
Okay.
helping the college students navigate their way through college,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I loved all of that. And got into dancing more in graduate school when I was
Okay.
working on my master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the NBA as far as basketball, but it was the International Basketball League. So it's like the minor basketball league,
Yeah.
so professional league, and I auditioned for that.
Awesome.
Got on the team for that as far as dancing. So, and it was so. When I look back, I start to see that, wow, this is amazing as far as this journey that I've been on, because these are things that I just kind of decided to step into. It was very scary,
Yeah.
very scary.
I think
Performing in front of
it was
people and
like
everything.
yeah, it was like you're opening up, like step by step. You were like, okay, let me just do this, or that's great.
Yeah, sure. So my friends like to say like, if you were just this flower, just blooming,
Absolutely.
and I was holding in a lot of me basically, and got married, had two boys, I was working at the college, at the university, teaching college level classes, working with academic advisors, because then I moved up into academic advising and managing and supervising and training
Yeah.
advisors because I've been doing it for such a long time. Something was missing. I stepped out of that. This was before I had my second son. So something was missing. I kind of stepped out of that, just kind of figured things out. So I decided to join the YMCA. Had my second son. I was teaching dance classes there because they were looking for dance instructors.
Yeah.
So this was at a YMCA. And the YMCA wanted me to move from dance. The Group X team said, hey, can you do your hip hop, or can you make it like hip hop aerobics? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I do that, and I'm basically, just doing simple steps, making it in a hip hop aerobics class. It was like dance fitness, basically. And then that same YMCA, so this was in 2000, beginning of 2009, that Y asked me, hey, if we put you in this new program, we have this new program that's out there at the other YMCAs, it's called Zumba. I was like, Zumba? Okay. They were like, it's dance fitness, we'll pay for you to go to the training.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have, with the obligation that you teach there for a certain period of time. So I was like, cool, I'll do that. March 2009. Almost didn't go to the training because my second son was 6 months. I was still nursing. They have the equipment and everything as far as,
Yeah.
to be able to still nurse. I'm like, okay, I don't think that I can do this.
Yeah.
And I just felt horrible, because I'm a new mom for the second time.
I know.
For my second child. And, so I went to the training, Maria Brownie.
Oh, that's cool. She's your Zez. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. She's my Zumba mommy, we say, Shaka. So she's my Zumba mommy for basic one. And I went to the training. It was in Maryland. I'm from the state of Maryland. Went to that training, fell in love with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I love what Maria does. Like that would be like a dream job because you can dance and teach and get paid for it. And I was like, I love dancing. I love teaching. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this would be, I wish. It's one of those things where you just wish you dream that.
Yeah. I think it was like
so
a perfect package for you. It's like, as you said, everything together, like a perfect package for you. So, wow, yeah.
Yeah. And so I just was like, okay, wow, one day, that would be great. And then a year later, the position opened up for the Zeds for the state, for the state of Virginia. And I applied for it, to be honest with you, I was like, if I just make it to the final audition, then that would be such a huge accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
So
I know a thing about this, so I can totally relate to this. When I applied, I had the same feelings.
Okay.
So yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna rock this out. I'm gonna do the best I can. Now, mind you, I was new as a Zumba instructor. I mean, I had my Zumba membership for a year, at least a year, all of that, but still new compared to the other ones that were auditioning with me. That's obviously made it to the audition, and when they selected me, I was just like in tears. I couldn't stop crying. I was just like shaking because there was just this whole thing. I look back to March 2009 with Maria when I attended the B1 training, the basic one training, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
So and I was so nervous because presenting in front of people, that's why I brought up the whole journey as far as me not talking and being so quiet. Imagine now you're becoming a Zumba education specialist. Now my first training, I have 70 people because Maria is there to, coach me through, and I got so sick because I was like, I can't do it, And Maria, Maria, she just coached me through, and I did it, and then it became this thing that, it's like what we say as far as instructors. After you do it for a while, you start to get into your flow.
Yeah.
So as educators, we get into that flow. And I started to feel more comfortable, and then I started to learn more about me. That was that whole self-exploration as far as discovering who I am. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I know that a lot of us can say this that are in Zumba fitness, because I'm very thankful for what the program has done in me more to the
Absolutely.
person that I actually am, who I truly am,
So me. So good.
and not afraid to speak now. My mother was completely different. She's not afraid to speak up, right?
Yeah.
But it was complete opposite for me. So just being able to, so I'm taking going through this journey and finding my voice through
Absolutely.
the expression of dance, through my gift of being a teacher, and through my gift of writing and encompassing, combining all been so grateful, and I'm still in awe that these blessings have come to me, and I'm still learning. So
That's amazing because, as you said, you've been so introvert. So tell us about that few first months or few first trainings that you were not the person that you could just go out and talk to people and all. So tell us about that moments. Like, so April, how did you? Because I know you love dancing, you love teaching, but teaching a Zumba class is something different. We don't have to talk much, but teaching instructors, we have to be so vocal about it. And I know what you're saying, butterflies in the stomach. And every time you walk into the studio where you're going to train people, the heart rate goes like whoosh, like it's double already because you see new people walking through. So could you just tell us, like, how was that journey? Because as you also mentioned that that helped you opening up, but I'm sure for the first few months or first few trainings you really must be struggling, or anything that if you could just tell us more about it.
yes, so the creator of Zumba, Becca, would always say to us, "You doubt, you die." And I'm like, "How
Amazing.
you gonna die?" So I say that Chuck, because every time, every time, the first few months, that there was that self doubt. There was that, okay, so I'm fairly new to Zumba, teaching Zumba classes as an instructor, and now they believe in me and have faith in me to actually now train the instructor. You know, I don't know if I'm qualified enough. Not only the part of being introverted and so shy and presenting in front of all these people. These people are sitting on the floor and they're looking at you, the trainer, the educator, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this. So so not only the butterflies, there was the tears
Oh my god, I know.
before doing the training, and it was difficult, and I just kept telling myself, you're not good enough, right?
Mm,
You're shy. How is a shy person supposed to get in front of this crowd, present to the people, teach them, give them this gift of, of course I say gift means in the fitness.
yeah.
Are you even qualified enough? So there's all the talk in my head, and so I'm crying from being nervous, but also crying from this whole, self doubt talking person that's, inside in my mind,
I know.
inside my head.
Yes.
And it was just, yeah, it was a struggle, but yet at the same time, I was still determined, because I think back again to my B1 training and becoming an instructor and saying, wow, like a little kid, if I could do that one day, what Maria does.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I take myself back to, that mindset, and I'm like, no, April, they believed in you enough. Maria, my mentor, because she also trained, she coached me. She was my coach, her and Tony Witt, for being a Zumba education specialist.
Yeah.
So having her in particular, she believed in me. She was like, and she was just very calm. She was like, April, I know you can do it. So I had to, I kept, so I would focus on that. And, it was a long journey though, I have to
Yes.
say.
That's
I've
what I
been
wanted to
doing this
know. I
since
know.
January. Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing this since January 2011. Now it's completely different, but it was a long process. I would say probably more than the first few trainings, even the first few months. This was being an introverted person, and it's almost like it was forcing me out of my shell,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
And I didn't want to let myself down because I love inspiring people. I love teaching people, and it wasn't for me about the title at all. I was just happy that I was selected to be able to teach people and give them my own personal experiences, because I started doing that
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the instructor training.
Yeah.
I started to give them my own personal experience, being shy, and they were like, "April, you shy?" I'm like, "Yes." So bringing in my personal experience, and I was like, you know what, I can do this because I really want them to feel the experience that I've been feeling along this new journey of this new path.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, as you mentioned about being an education specialist, so tell us more about from being a Zumba education specialist. Yes, you're dancing, you're teaching love. I know that, and we see that as you mentioned. But right now, what I see is you are so much into mind power, or I would say something which is mindfulness. It's about being aware, because I can relate to all these things. But could you, tell us more about this, that how did this journey right now, April? Because I see a lot of videos of you Instagram, that you also take us through small moments of meditation, or you do share thoughts which actually gives a lot of motivation, inspiration, but at the same time when I watch them I feel very peaceful about it. So how did that, being an education specialist, of course being an education specialist, you know it, we know it, like it's like almost a full-time job, right? So from that process into this mindfulness, April, so how was that?
So as I gained more experience and talking and teaching, presenting to people, and then especially at the instructor conventions we had, that's a whole other beast. You want to talk about, right now we talk about presenting to hundreds of people on a huge stage.
That's amazing, I know.
And I'll give you this experience. When Dr. B, they invited Dr. B to present the Bollywood and Bhangra workshop. Uh, she actually attended my classes when I was an instructor.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm. She attended my classes and invited me to be on the team.
Good,
So
so good, yeah.
yeah, yeah, sure. So let me tell you, mind you, that I love Bollywood. I watch the videos from the movies and all of that. Is it Panam? The movie Panam?
Yes.
Okay, love that movie.
That's amazing, yes.
Never danced Bollywood, never danced Bhangra, saw it, and I had a quick crash course, lesson, whatever you want to call it, because she invited me to be on team. Once again, another person that believed in me. And let me tell you, the love I have for Bollywood and Bhangra is it's an unconditional love. I can hardly describe it. I'm just
It's
so
it's
like,
beautiful.
it touches me in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did the workshops at convention, and I'm bringing that up because that that was like 500 people in
I
a
know
workshop,
it. Yes. Gosh.
and again, her and the other people on the team, Dr. B, the presenter, and other people on the team, they believed in me,
Yeah.
and this is a part of my building up my self confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just added to that, that progression of the self confidence journey.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I realized that, okay, wait a minute, because I'm like, I used to say before, I'm not a public speaker. How can you be a public speaker when you're an introvert and you have a phobia pretty much of talking to people?
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's still part of the self discovery and learning who you really are, and not what you think you are, and attaching some type of label to yourself, like, oh, you're shy, you don't do public speaking. And being a Zumba education specialist, being able to have those experiences to also present at huge Zumba events, it just really helped boost my confidence. And then going back to having the voice, I'm like, okay, April, well, other people, they speak their voice, they have their voice that they discovered and have no problem sharing. Why do you have such a huge problem in sharing your voice? Because I'm always concerned about people.
Yeah.
Don't offend people, April. Don't hurt people. What if you say something wrong? So I'm in my head, what if you say something wrong
I know.
that, yeah, that may offend them, that may hurt them? And I'm always looking out for the other person.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I always want to come from a place of love. So since I've never talked, and it's always been through just writing more so and just dancing. Once I got into the Zumba education specialist role, I'm like, okay, I started to speak up more. Of course, we provide the training,
Yeah.
information, the content, but when I bring my own personal experiences in, I'm like, okay, let me share my personal experiences and let me share with them how, because I wasn't taught that, how you just need to just be yourself and just have fun. When you're having fun, then your students will see you having fun.
Have fun.
So
Absolutely.
that started to evolve, right? The whole thing
Yes.
of utilizing and bringing out that voice.
Yeah, I think it was
And
just, it's about the experiences that you started sharing and speaking. And I think people just want to hear that, April, because I think the more you talk about your experiences, that shows more confidence. And then people say, whoa, I just want to be like her. So what we are doing is we are just talking out of experience. So that shows a lot of confidence. So that's cool, amazing. Tell us more.
yeah, yeah, and so and that's the thing, sure, because I'm like, oh my God, people don't want to hear my experiences. It's just like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, she's talking about this, she's talking about that. But again, that's me saying that,
Yeah.
and I wasn't fully aware of what you just said, that people love to hear the experience.
Yeah.
And when I look back on all the instructor trainings, I always shared. When I look back, I've always shared my own personal journey.
Yeah.
And I realized that's what really captured the people,
Absolutely.
because I was just speaking from my heart. So I'm like, okay, April, so what's wrong with speaking from your heart? Just speak from your heart. And so where I'm at now, and doing this position and learning so much from it, there's so many experiences. But the one thing I would say that comes to mind when we talk about evolving and transitioning into this mindfulness, my mother, she would have been 66 on February 25th of this year. March of last year, we had the whole shutdown, right? And then unexpectedly, in the month of April of last year, my mother passed. And she was only 65. She had just turned 65.
Sorry to hear that. I know.
That totally rocked my whole world. I went into a depression. It just, and it's still, obviously, it's still fresh, right? So
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult to deal with,
Absolutely.
internally. Very, very difficult.
I think it's
So,
always going to stay fresh, because when it's mother, we just, I think that's the most beautiful relationship we ever have. Somebody who's closest to us, somebody who knows us so well. So yeah. So people say time is the solution, but we all know that not everybody can just. That's really not the solution, right? Yeah.
yeah. And I isolated myself. I went back to saying, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to be silent. I don't have her here, because a lot of the whole, when we talk as far as mindfulness and really being able to share what's on the heart, I would always do it with my mother. We would do it together.
Yeah.
We would talk all the time about that. That was my rock. She was like my mindfulness coach, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
And so everything just started to turn dark. We have light, we have dark. Right? You can't have light without the dark, you can't have dark without the light. But I just went completely dark. Didn't really didn't really talk to people much. I just kept to myself. And then of course that's not something, I'm not the type of person that would just put that out on social media. People have no problem, hey, mother passed, and that was very hard for me because I'm also a very private person.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will share with everybody is that in this whole mindfulness journey, the one thing my mother said to me before she passed was, April, I didn't know that I had to protect your heart. So that stays here and here.
Yeah.
Because I realized, okay, if you love deeply, when you love, you just love. It doesn't matter what the person has done to you, or if you've been hurt by somebody, what
Absolutely.
they
So
did.
well said.
And so, in remembering her saying that, the biggest thing that came up for me was love. It always comes back to love. And I know my mom because she loved everybody. She was like, even in the Zumba cruises, my mom, it was her first time going on a cruise. It was a Zumba cruise. Everybody fell in love with her. She had conversations with everybody.
Wow.
And that was my mom. She's like all the colors of love. It's actually one of my writing pieces is the colors of love. And it's in tribute to her. She was all the colors of love. And so it was either I went into a depression, I will be honest, I actually went into suicidal thoughts as far as just wanting my life to end.
Oh my God.
And because I was like, what else is there? She's gone. There's things that we have planned and all of that. So depression, suicidal thoughts, and I was like, I know this is not me. So I have to pull myself out of this. And on top of that, people need to be reminded of the importance of love and taking that mindset, the mindset of, no matter what I'm going through, it always comes back to love. And I became a yoga teacher back in 2018. Always wanted to teach yoga, but it's hard when you're in this education specialist role because we train on the weekends.
Yes, exactly.
And so I ended up getting into a 2-week intensive. I did it July of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And that has contributed significantly. Of course, I was in the fitness journey, but also the yoga training. That's contributed tremendously to my growth, my evolution of this whole mindfulness journey, because I meditate more. When my mother passed, I stopped the meditation. It's just like, no, I failed, because you're dealing with a lot of guilt too, especially when you weren't there when she passed. So, you're going through all these emotions, and when you hardly have time to breathe. So there's all these things. I try to go to a counselor. That works for some people, doesn't work for me. Meditation works for me. Sitting in stillness,
Yeah.
going within, is doing the inner work. And this is what I always try to share with people now, is doing the inner work. And that traumatic experience with my mom is always teaching me. Every day it teaches me. Because no matter what, because I have my moments where I cry.
Yeah.
That's just natural, right?
Absolutely.
Because
That's so human.
Physically.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't have it here physically. And I have my moments where I cry. I also remember the importance of love, and I'm not just talking about just, oh yeah, okay, let's love on each other, peace, love, and happiness. It transcends. When I say the transcendence of love, it's deeper than what we think or what we know. And I'm not saying I have the answers. It's just I feel that. It's like you feel that feeling of love, and you come to that part of no matter what. I've gone through a lot with people. As far as negative energy, toxic people, it still comes back to love. And that is a love that is my hope and my desire to just share with people. And so hence why you get the videos, you see what I post on Instagram. It's not only healing for me, but because I have people that message me privately, it's healing for them as well. And I had no idea. They were like, April, keep going. I'm like, okay. And I'm not just doing this for me. I believe in the healing of people through this unconditional love, and always coming back to love.
That's so beautiful. So, just listening to you right now and just hearing you is giving me such a lot of peace right now. So, I think when you're actually in this right moment, so people say that when you are in that moment and I'm listening to you, I can just connect within myself. That's what your talks are doing right now, April. So I feel a lot of peace within me. At the same time, I feel I'm in this present moment. So of course, since being last 2 years, even I've been reading a lot about being aware of yourself, being into being. It's like being in the present moment, and the best way to know that to be in the present moment is that when you feel the peace within you. And that's exactly what I'm feeling, April, right now. So I just want to say thank you for this beautiful moment right now, because I feel good about myself, and I'm sure people who are watching this, they are feeling the same. So thank you so much.
Mm,
So, April, I know
yes,
that it's your journey from being a dancer, teacher, education specialist, now into mindfulness. You're just doing so that you can give more to people. So, I know your mom inspires you for doing everything that you're doing right now. Is there anything else that really inspires you so that you want to still be more on this journey right now? Or what is next, I would say, that you are looking forward to do it, or any such thoughts, or just if you could just tell us more.
yes. The people inspire me. Um, I guess I'll just go ahead and be honest.
Yes.
Not that I wasn't before, but I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yeah.
No matter what you look like, no matter what you look like, no matter your background, for me, I'm not into having the races and it's we come from this whole conditioning and programming that, oh, well, this group has this has been done to this group, this has been done to that group. At the end of the day, we all have eyes, ears, toes, two hands. We're all human.
Hmm.
So when you ask me about the inspiration, of course, my inspiration comes from my mom,
Yeah.
significantly. Yeah. The people. When you ask me that, the first thing that comes to mind is the people, because it's about humanity. It's about human. We're here to have a human experience. And so when I do the videos, when I do my program for Breathing Flow, which is mindfulness, meditation, yoga, and dance, all combined into that program, what inspires me is the people. And I realize that a huge part of my mission is to bring people together. And when things open up, there will be these gatherings that I will put together so that we can connect and have these conversations. A big problem is the fact that we don't have conversations, and sometimes the conversations may be difficult, and that's okay. Sometimes we may not agree, but guess what? We've been coming up in an environment, when we were young, and this whole evolution of our life journey, that we may be still conditioned to how we grew up in our environment, right? And that doesn't mean that we have to stay in that.
Absolutely.
When
Such
we
a
learn,
wonderful thought,
yeah,
April.
and when we learn to be more loving for one another, not bitter or anything like that. See, a lot of the bitterness that we have for other people, it comes from our own
So
internal.
true.
That's why I say,
Yes.
and yeah, and so that's why I always tell people, I'm like, because usually people will ask me, well, April, I don't know, you're so strong, how do you get through this? Give you the answer. It's the inner work. You have to go within and you have to dig deeper and learn more about yourself. You as an individual, who are you? What makes up you? I'm not talking about titles of education specialist, mom, professional, sister. It's not, it has nothing to do with that. It has so much to do with the inner work of who you are. And not doing, so you do the inner work. But how beautiful would it be if we came together, we connected, because it really is about oneness. We're all connected.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, we're all connected.
absolutely.
And the goal is for us to have an even more beautiful experience along this life journey. Even though we're all individuals, we're each unique, yeah. The goal is also to have this human experience where we can appreciate life more, where we can worry less about the things that really don't serve us. And we can live peaceful regardless of what you look like, regardless of, this person's background, that person's background. Well, this person may be more talking to this person, I'm not talking to. It doesn't matter. We can come together and have these types of conversations, but they have to be open conversations. And in order to have the open conversations, we have to do the inner work. In order for us to love more in such a beautiful, I would say, divine way, we have to do the inner work.
Yeah.
Love on ourselves. Do that inner work so that we can externally exchange that love with one another with no judgments, no limitations. I could go on and on.
I know, no. This is so beautiful. I can just listen to you forever, April. So, with this, because as I also said that being a wondrous woman, you, yes, for me you are a wondrous woman in whatever you're doing, and I'm seeing you for a long time. So the next question what I have for you is, what if I ask you, could you define success, or rather, can you tell what is success to you, April?
What is sexist?
Success to you. If I'm saying that I'm successful, so when I say success, what is it? How do you see success? Like, some people say it's a process, some people say that maybe this is, I achieved this is a success point for me, but what is to you if I ask you to define success?
Success. So for me, success encompasses this whole progression and this journey of doing the inner work. It's a mindset shift. When we change the mindset, when we change that mindset, if, for example, I use myself, about self-doubt, the negative thoughts, when we shift the mindset and begin to focus more on the desires of our heart,
Yeah,
what we desire, what we envision, what is the life that we would love to have, and actually manifesting it, we manifest it through the mindset, shifting the mindset
yeah,
from, oh my gosh, I haven't, I'm at this age and I haven't even done these things on the list as far as my goals. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. It doesn't mean that you won't be successful.
mm-hmm.
It connects to that inner work and shifting the mindset. For me, that's what defines success. There's going to be a lot of bumps and challenges. Life is full of surprises, unexpected surprises.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's the mindset, it's shifting that mindset, it's doing the effects, which goes hand in hand, doing the inner work,
yeah.
and it's also letting go of expectations.
Oh gosh, that is the toughest one. Tell me about it, right?
Mhm. When we set those expectations, then we set ourselves up for failure.
Yeah,
And granted, all of these personal experience that we learn along the life journey is there to grow us and teach us all of that. At the same time, part of that mindset is shifting that awareness of, I expect this to happen, or I expected this person to be this way. As an example, you can't expect another person, let's say you're in a friendship, you expect that other person to do what you do.
yeah,
We're different in our personalities and who we are. We let go of those expectations, don't have the expectations, and say, okay, I'm going to let these expectations go. I'm going to focus on the things that I can control and work towards manifesting the life that is designed for me.
yeah.
That is huge, and that's one thing I've just learned as far as the expectations. I put a lot of expectations on people.
No, but that's fine, right, April? Because so I used to argue with myself this for a pretty long time, that if I love my close people, my family, my best friends, and all, so I love them, right? The moment you love them, You do have an expectation, right? But you will never expect from somebody who's not a close friend of yours. So this kind of lot of confusion, or I would say like an incongruence, happened to me, that how can I not expect from my best friends? How can I not expect from my mom and dad, or how can I not expect from my daughter? So this has been a journey, but in fact, people who are closest to you, you expect more from them. And that actually starts the whole, I would say, like maybe sometimes the arguments or the fights. And you are absolutely right, April, because you said that you see that person the way you want to see it, right? But love has no boundaries. You should just be loving them because just the way they are, right? So that's the toughest one, expect, not expect, loved ones, not loved ones. So this is tough. Oh my god, I can just talk about it forever, but yes, yeah.
Yeah. Because what happens when you love without expectation? What happens when you give without expectation? These are things that I'm asking myself before I started.
Yeah.
When you love without expectations, what happens? When you give without expectations, what happens? When you just live without expectations, what happens? What happens when you? For me, and it's a work in progress. I don't know necessarily that, we had it just 100%, graduating
I
from
know.
that, in terms of letting go, letting go of expectations. I realize though, when I'm doing that inner work of loving without the expectation, giving without expectation, there's a love in me that is more at peace. I'm
Yeah.
more at my close circle, family and friends, where I had these expectations. I was so hurt. There was so much pain. And then the anger started to surface, the bitterness started to surface, the frustration. I don't want that on me. I don't want that around me. I don't want that in me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to give up those expectations because that's where that person is. It's not where I am. I love you. I don't have those expectations of you because I am better than I don't. It makes me a
Absolutely.
better person.
Yes. Exactly. I think as it's all
And that's
about
that kind of
you. Yes. It makes you such a wonderful thought. I'm just going to hook on this thought right now. And I think this is the biggest takeaway for me out of this interview today. April, you said that when I have less expectations or no expectations, that makes me better. So I love this thought. Thank you so much for sharing this.
And
So,
that's
yeah.
part of, for me, what defines success. Part of
Yeah.
the success.
So, this makes me think of something which you're going to laugh out on this statement, that no expectations is equal to no drama. How's that, April?
Yes.
So, I think every time there is a drama in life, every time, let it be arguments and fights, everything, the base is expectation. So, guys, no expectations, no drama in life. If you are a drama lover,
Yeah.
have fun expecting out of people, right? Yes.
Yes. Yes. And
Wonderful.
it just creates more stress, stress work that you got to deal with and work through
Yeah.
when we do that. We say no more drama, no more drama. Okay, you can't just say no more drama.
No.
What does that look like? What does it accomplish in terms of that work you want to do?
Yeah.
Part of that inner work is stop holding on to these expectations.
Yeah.
I speak to myself especially when I say that because I have so many expectations of people. I overlove. I work hard on my speed, and I just, I expect people to do the same. So then it becomes so detrimental and so devastating inside, and I start to fall apart.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's beautifully put about success. That's amazing. So now, April, I'm going to ask you something which might just change the mood of this whole interview. So could you share something that has been really very hilarious in your life? Like a funny moment or a bunch of moment that you're like, even today when I think of it, I can just laugh out. Is there any moment or any,
Yeah.
instance that you would love to share with all of us?
So this takes me back to Zumba instructor training for basic one for people to become instructors. It takes me back years back. This was in West Virginia. One of my good friends, she owned a studio and she hosted me to do a training. And when I had my second son, like shortly after I had my second son, I started to have scars on my face.
Okay.
Like scars.
Yeah.
So, and the woman speaking that did the couple micropeeling on the face to help with that with the scarring. Weird. I believe that they were happy for we're like sisters. In any case, before I had the training, I wanted the scheduled work was to be done on my face. And so I was hoping, please don't let it heal, please don't let it heal. So I'm at this training, and somewhere midway through the training, it starts peeling. Because micropeeling, you're helping the scars on your face, and you can't touch it. You're not supposed to touch it. You're supposed to just do a thing.
Okay.
So my friend who's a host, she was like, "Oh my gosh, April, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yes." I explained to her, I did the whole microbill and everything. And I was like, "Yeah, I know, it looks like my face is falling, right?"
Gosh. I know.
It started to get a little worse. Not too bad, but a little worse as far as it just, so it looks like my face is falling off. And I try to stay further away from, people as I'm doing the training and everything, because I don't want them to freak out. Like, oh my gosh, people are going to be like, okay, it looks like her freaking face is falling off. And all I can do is, even to this day, I laugh at myself because that was hilarious. Because I remember looking in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's falling off.
Yes, and you couldn't do anything about it that moment. So just be it, right?
I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm still gonna get a little bit of experience. This is my healing as far as my face. It has to happen, and sorry, but no worries, don't freak out. We just gonna have a good time anyway. So I still rock it out.
Let's complete the training. That is.
The training is like a whole day. It's like you 7 a.m. to start to set up, and then the end all the way towards 6 p.m. So it's what it is.
That is so cool, right? So it's so nice to of you to share this with us. Thank you so much. So April, this whole interview has been really beautiful, and I have not even realized that we are almost at this end of the interview right now. So before we go ahead and before we say bye to everybody, I wanted you to share like a message, because you've been really sharing very good messages right now to people about, I loved what you said about expectations, I loved what you said about inspiration, I loved so many things what you have said. But is there anything specific that you would love to give, like an inspirational or motivational message to everybody who's watching you live right now, or even to people later, because this is going to be like a YouTube recorded one, and people can watch it forever. So is there anything that you would love to tell them, or of course out of your experience, out of whatever you're going through since last 6 months, you are, I would say, like it's like a healing thing for you. So is there anything you would love to tell them?
Yeah, I would share the fact that who you are is who you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. And let me speak specifically because with the whole thing with women, with being women's month and everything, we hold in a lot, we carry a lot. It's this whole thing we talk about, I'm going to be superwoman, I'm going to do it all, I'm going to do it without, failing, without letting my emotions just, fall apart or be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. In order for you to be who you are, be vulnerable. It's okay to be transparent, be vulnerable, be open with your emotions, feel your. How can you live life with pure good intentions if you don't live it with being who you truly are? It's okay to be weak.
Yeah.
It's okay to, even when we're talking about love and positive thoughts, positive thinking, light, all of that, it's okay to have your emotional breakdowns. This is what, and again, this is from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to have the breakdowns. It's part of the growth. It's a part of the evolution of you going through that journey of self-discovery, self-exploration. It's part of the exploration.
So true. So true.
Do it. Yeah. Don't be afraid to do the inner work. It's funny because today for me, for my video, was fear of trying it. And I always think about the women. you know. But part of that being fearless, and being fearless is to be who you are. Love who you do all of that, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
We talk about connecting as one. Reach out to people. Connect with people. Don't hold it in. Be open with who you are. Love who you are so that you can live that life that you so desire and that makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel good.
Wonderful. That's such a beautiful message. And I think that becomes sometimes the most toughest thing. We don't accept ourselves what we are. I think the moment you start accepting what you are, things become so simple, and then you just have to follow your heart. And then there is no doubt, there's no worries, right? So, with this notion, thank you.
Because we make,
Yeah. Go ahead, April.
well, I'm sorry, because I just can't, when you said
Yes.
that about simplicity, we make it hard.
Yes.
It can be easy. You have to shift the mindset. Do the inner work. So that you say, you know what? It doesn't have to be hard. I'm responsible for the life that I live. It's my responsibility. It's my responsibility to be who I am, to make it less difficult, more easy. It becomes easier when you make it routine.
Exactly. So, guys, with this notion, it is almost, I would say, and you know what, I don't want to stop this live today because I think I and April can go on ever because it's almost night in India, so I can just go on forever because I think these thoughts that we all have, it's a conflict sometimes that just goes on within us, but I think sometimes we need a confirmation from a different person, an experienced person, that you know what, just because April is saying it, I think let me try that. Even though with this notion, guys, even whatever April said right now, with that one point of inspiration, if that motivates you guys, please follow your heart and I think start working on what she said, something about the shift of the mind. Or I also loved what April said right now is about just because you've been brought up like that doesn't mean you have to just be there. You can travel somewhere or let your mind travel somewhere where that makes you happy. Maybe you were happy somewhere else when as a child, but today it can be somewhere else. So guys, follow your heart, and I think I want to say this, let's make April proud, because if you're listening to her, I think this is what she wants, that if you guys are happy with what she said and if that makes you happy and truly accomplished and I would say peaceful and so much more right now, so just be it, guys. Thank you so much, April. Thank you so much for being at this interview today, and it's been beautiful. Thank you so much. So it's
Thank
a
you.
bye.
Thank you, Shweta.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for this because again, this is actually what I've been manifesting, is to having these conversations, these open conversations because we all need it.
Yeah.
Because it's reminders, it's confirmation, like you said. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye everybody. April, you want to say bye to all? Bye.